Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the English Conversation Podcast. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Mike. This is the show where we help you speak natural, everyday English through real conversations about real-life topics. No textbook exercises, no grammar drills, just two people talking honestly about things that actually matter. And your English grows without you even noticing.
And Mike, before we get started today, I want to ask you something. Is there anything on your mind lately? Something you just can't stop thinking about?
Actually, yes. Something happened this week that really stayed with me. My cousin got promoted at work. It was a big deal. She had been working incredibly hard for it for over a year. And I was genuinely thrilled for her, so I posted about it on social media. Just a warm message congratulating her, saying how proud I was.
That's a lovely thing to do.
And the response was wonderful, honestly. Within a few hours, I had over 200 likes and comments. People I went to school with 10 years ago, old colleagues I hadn't spoken to in years, people I'd never even met in person. All of them saying things like, "She deserves it," and "What a wonderful family you have." It was really touching.
That sounds beautiful, Mike. So what's the part that's bothering you?
My aunt, my actual aunt, who calls me every single week to catch up, said nothing. My uncle, who always has an opinion about everything, complete silence. And my other cousin, the one I grew up with like a brother, didn't even tap the like button. 3 days passed. Not a word from any of my relatives.
Ouch.
And what made it hit harder is that this isn't new. A couple of years ago, when I started learning English seriously, do you know who was the first person to say, "Wow, Mike, your English is really improving"?
A stranger?
A complete stranger. Someone I'd never met in an online forum. Not my aunt, not my uncle, not the cousins I spent every summer with as a kid. A person who had never even heard my name before, noticed my progress before anyone in my own family did.
And I think everyone listening just felt something in their chest. Because what Mike is describing, that contrast, that quiet sting, is one of the most common human experiences there is.
It really is. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. Why do the people who raised us, who sat at the same table as us, who know our full name and our childhood nickname and our biggest fears, why are they so often the last ones to celebrate our wins? And why do complete strangers sometimes believe in us more than the people who share our last name?
We're going to explore the psychology behind it, and then give you 3 real steps you can actually take this week. Because understanding this doesn't just explain something, it can genuinely change how you feel about yourself.
But before we get into the psychology, I want people to really sit with this feeling for a moment. Sarah, has this happened to you? Not just once, but a specific time you remember clearly?
Oh, absolutely. A few years ago, I finished a really challenging project at work. Something I had spent months on. Late nights, weekends, a lot of emotional energy. I was genuinely proud of it. And I mentioned it at a family gathering, kind of hoping for some encouragement. What happened?
My aunt looked at me and said, "Oh, that's nice." And then, without even a breath, "By the way, did you hear that your cousin Seema bought a new apartment?" 2 seconds of my achievement, 10 minutes about someone else's apartment.
Classic.
But a few days later, I got a message online from someone I had never met, someone who had come across my work. This person wrote me 3 full paragraphs about how what I'd done had inspired them. 3 paragraphs, Mike, from a complete stranger.
And I'll bet you still remember that message.
I saved it. It's still on my phone. Because in that moment, a stranger gave me something my relatives couldn't.
Okay, so why? That's the real question. Because our relatives aren't monsters. Most of them do love us in their own way. So why can't they just say, "Well done"?
The answer is actually fascinating. And here's the thing, it has almost nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with what's happening inside their brain.
There are 3 psychological reasons for this, and each one has a name I think you'll remember long after this episode ends.
The first one is called the frozen photo.
The frozen photo?
When your relatives look at you, they don't see the person you are today. They see a photograph from years ago. Maybe you're running around at a family picnic as a child. Maybe you're the quiet teenager who hadn't figured out their path yet. Maybe you're the young adult who was still making mistakes.
And that photo never updates?
Exactly. It freezes. So your aunt still sees the child who spilled juice on her carpet. Your uncle still sees the teenager who couldn't decide which university to pick. Your cousin still sees the person who was always one step behind him. And when you show up with something new, something impressive, something that doesn't match that old photo, their brain doesn't quite know what to do with it.
So instead of updating the image, they just ignore the new information?
Yes, psychologists call this identity freeze. It's easier for the brain to protect an old belief than to build a new one. So your growth gets quietly dismissed, not out of cruelty, but because the frozen photo is simply easier to hold on to.
This explains so much to me. Every time I go to a family gathering, I feel 15 years old again. My uncle gives me advice about things I figured out years ago. My aunt still introduces me to people as the quiet one. And I sit there thinking, don't you see who I am now?
And the honest answer is no. Not because they don't care, but because the frozen photo is so strong, it actually blocks the current reality. It's like wearing old glasses with the wrong prescription. Everything looks a little blurry, but you've worn them so long, you've forgotten what clear looks like.
And a stranger doesn't have a photo of you at all.
Precisely. When a stranger encounters you or your work, they're seeing you for the first time. No history, no old image, just the person you are right now. And that's why their reaction is so different. They see the real you. Your relatives see an old version of you.
It's a little heartbreaking when you put it that way.
It is. But once you understand it, you stop taking it so personally. It's not that your relatives don't love you. It's that they're still holding an old photograph, and they don't know how to put it down.
Okay, what's the second reason?
The second one is called the mirror effect, and this one is a little harder to hear.
I'm ready.
Your relatives, most of them, grew up in the same world as you. The same neighborhood, the same family expectations, the same starting point. Your cousin went to the same schools. Your aunt grew up in your parents' world. Everyone came from the same place.
Right. We all share the same background.
So when you succeed, when you do something impressive, when you grow beyond that shared starting point, you become a mirror for the people around you. And in that mirror, they don't see your success. They see their own missed chances.
So my cousin ignores my post because it makes him feel something uncomfortable?
Not consciously. He's not sitting there thinking, Mike got promoted and I didn't. It's subtler than that. It's a feeling, a tightness in the chest that he can't quite explain. He sees your achievement. Something inside him responds, and he doesn't know how to handle it. So he looks at his phone. He changes the subject to football. He says, "Good for you," and moves on.
So he's not ignoring me because he doesn't care. He's ignoring me because it's uncomfortable.
Yes. There's a well-known idea in psychology called social comparison theory, developed by a researcher named Leon Festinger. His work found that people naturally measure themselves against others, and the closer someone is to us, the more powerfully we compare ourselves to them.
So we compare most with the people we're most similar to?
Exactly. You don't compare yourself to a billionaire. The gap is too wide. You don't compare yourself to a celebrity. They live in a different world. But your cousin, who started at exactly the same place as you, he feels very comparable. So your success feels measurable. And that measurement, even when nobody names it, can be deeply painful.
I felt this myself. A cousin on my father's side became very successful very quickly, and I remember hearing about it at a family dinner and feeling this strange tightness in my stomach. I was happy for him, genuinely, but underneath that happiness, something else was there, something I didn't want to admit.
And that something is exactly what your relatives feel when they hear your good news. That complicated mixture of pride and pain. And most people don't know how to hold both feelings at once, so they choose the easier option.
Silence.
Silence. But a stranger doesn't have this problem. They don't share your starting point. When a stranger sees your success, there's no comparison, no mirror, just someone doing something good. And they think, good for them.
So, paradoxically, the people who struggle most to celebrate me are the people who are most like me?
Yes. The closer someone is to your starting point, the harder it can be for them to watch you move beyond it. Not because they're bad people, because the mirror is too honest.
Okay, what's the third reason?
The third one has a very visual name. It's called the crab bucket.
Like actual crabs?
Like actual crabs. Have you heard this story?
I think so, but tell me.
Imagine a bucket full of crabs. If one crab tries to climb out, the others grab onto it and pull it back down. They don't plan it. It's not a conspiracy. It's just a reflex. Each crab is trying to climb, and it grabs whatever is above it. The result is that no crab ever escapes.
And families work this way?
Extended families especially. At every family gathering, there's an invisible ranking happening. Who earns more? Whose children are doing better? Who bought a house? Who got married? Who lost weight? Who got promoted? It's constant, and nobody talks about it directly.
Every holiday dinner feels like an unspoken competition.
Right. And underneath that competition, there's an unspoken agreement. We are all at the same level. We struggle the same way. We have the same problems. And as long as everyone stays at that level, the system feels stable. Everyone feels comfortable.
But when one person starts to rise above that level?
The system feels unstable. And the instinctive response, not a chosen one, an instinctive one, is to pull the rising person back. Or, at minimum, to refuse to acknowledge that they've risen. By ignoring achievements, by changing the subject, by pointing out what's wrong instead of what's right.
Or by saying things like, you've changed, or you think you're better than us now, or don't forget where you came from.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Those words aren't always said with cruelty. Sometimes they are, but often the person saying them is just feeling the system shake beneath them. They're reacting to something they can't name.
This pattern exists in every culture, doesn't it?
Every single one. In Australia, they call it tall poppy syndrome. If one flower grows taller than the rest, cut it down to keep the field even. In many parts of Asia, there are sayings about the nail that sticks up getting hammered down. In Latin America, in the Middle East, in Africa, in Europe, different words, different countries, the same deeply human pattern.
So it's not just my relatives. It's built into how groups work?
It's been built into how humans work for thousands of years. Groups want stability. Individual growth can feel like a threat to that stability. So the group pulls back.
And here's something that genuinely helped me. Your relatives aren't choosing to do this. It's more like a reflex. Like when a doctor taps your knee and your leg kicks. Their reaction to your success isn't a decision, it's a response.
And when you understand that, something shifts. Because when I thought my cousin was choosing to ignore me, I felt betrayed. But if it's a reflex, then it's not personal.
It feels personal. It hurts like it's personal. But in most cases, it isn't. And understanding that difference is the first step toward healing.
So now we have the 3 reasons. The frozen photo, they see your old self. The mirror effect, your success reflects their own missed chances. And the crab bucket, the group wants everyone to stay at the same level.
And none of these mean your relatives are bad people. None of them mean they don't care about you. These are unconscious patterns. Most people don't even realize they're doing it.
Step 1, stop waiting for applause from the wrong audience.
That's a strong sentence.
It's a hard truth, but it's the foundation of everything else. If you keep expecting your relatives to celebrate you and they keep not doing it, you are choosing to be hurt over and over again. Not because they want to hurt you, but because you're asking them for something they genuinely can't give right now.
But I do want my relatives to be proud of me. I want my uncle to say, "Good job." I want my cousin to feel genuinely happy when something good happens to me. That's natural. That's human.
Of course it is. And I'm not saying stop wanting that. I'm saying stop needing it. There's a real difference. Wanting is a wish. Needing is a dependency. When you need their approval to feel good about yourself, you give them power over your happiness, and they don't even know they have it.
So how do you make that shift from needing to wanting?
It starts with awareness. This week, every time you feel disappointed by a relative's reaction or their silence, don't judge it. Don't send a passive-aggressive message. Just notice it. Observe it like you're watching a film, and say to yourself quietly, I expected applause. I got silence. And that silence is about them, not about me. It's about their frozen photo, their mirror, their bucket, not about my worth.
That's really difficult to do in the moment.
The first few times, yes, because your body is already wired to react with hurt or anger. But every time you pause and say those words instead, you take a little bit of your power back. You remind your brain that your worth is not decided by someone else's reaction or their silence.
From needing to wanting. That's the shift.
And it changes everything.
Step 2. Build your celebration circle.
If the people around you can't celebrate you right now, find people who can. And before you say, but I don't know anyone, let me tell you something. You very likely already have one.
I do?
Every person in a community like this, every person who leaves an encouraging comment, who messages another learner to say, keep going, who cheers for a stranger's small win, that is a celebration circle. It's not about having hundreds of friends. It's about having even 3 or 4 people who genuinely cheer for you when something good happens.
And those people can be anywhere. Online, at work, in a class, in a hobby group.
And here's something I've noticed. The best celebration circles tend to form in places where everyone is actively growing. A language class, a gym, a writing group, an online community. Because people who are working on themselves know how hard growth is. They know what it costs. And when they see someone else growing, they celebrate it because they recognize the feeling.
The most supportive people in my life right now are other people who are also working on something difficult.
They get it because they're living it. So this week, tell someone outside your family about something you're proud of. It doesn't have to be huge. Maybe you learned a new word. Maybe you handled a difficult situation well. Maybe you finished something you kept putting off. Tell one person. And notice how their reaction makes you feel compared to your relative's silence.
I think that's going to be eye-opening for a lot of people.
When someone genuinely celebrates you, you realize what you've been missing. And then you can start building more of that into your life on purpose.
Step 3, and this is my favorite one.
Become the stranger for someone else.
Be the person who celebrates someone.
You know exactly how it feels to be ignored. You know how it feels when nobody says, "Well done," or "I'm proud of you." You know that quiet ache. So be the cure for someone else.
Leave a comment on someone's video that says, "I can see how hard you worked on this." Send a message to a colleague. "You did a great job in that meeting today." Text a friend you haven't spoken to in a while. "I was thinking about you, and I want you to know I'm really proud of who you're becoming."
Mike, this gives me chills because someone did this for me once. A complete stranger.
Tell me.
Years ago, I had posted something online about my English learning journey, just a short post about reaching a small milestone. And someone I had never met from a completely different country wrote to me, "I've been following your progress for a few months, and I just want you to know that your dedication genuinely inspires me. Keep going." That was it. 2 sentences. And I have carried those 2 sentences with me for years.
That's the power of being truly seen. One sentence from the right person at the right moment can change how someone feels about themselves for months, sometimes for years.
And the person who wrote that message probably spent 30 seconds on it. They've almost certainly forgotten they wrote it. But for me, it was unforgettable.
So the exercise this week is simple. Celebrate one person. Just one. Someone outside your family, maybe someone you don't know very well. Notice something genuine about them and say it, out loud or in writing. It takes 30 seconds, and it might be the most meaningful thing that happens to them all week.
And honestly, it will probably feel really good for you too. Because when you train your attention to notice good things in others, your brain starts noticing good things about yourself. You become kinder to the world and kinder to yourself at the same time.
Sarah, before we close, I feel like there's something we haven't said yet. Something important.
You're right. And this might be the most important thing in the whole episode. So I want everyone listening to really hear this. Go ahead.
If your relatives don't celebrate you, that is not evidence that you are not worth celebrating. Your worth is not decided by your aunt's reaction, or your uncle's silence, or your cousin's indifference. Your worth exists independently of all of that.
Can I share something personal?
Please.
I spent years angry at my cousin. Years. Every family gathering, every wedding, every holiday dinner, I was keeping score in my head. Did he acknowledge my new job? No. Did he ask about my project? No. Did he say anything encouraging about anything I'd done in the last 5 years? No. And I carried that anger with me like a stone in my chest. Every time I saw him, the stone got heavier.
What changed?
2 things. First, I realized he wasn't ignoring me on purpose. He was dealing with his own mirror, his own bucket, his own frozen photo of me. He was seeing me through glasses that were 20 years old. He couldn't see who I'd become. And the scorecard I was keeping in my head, it wasn't hurting him at all. He didn't even know I was counting. The only person being hurt by that stone in my chest was me.
And the second thing?
I stopped needing his acknowledgement. I didn't stop loving him. I didn't stop going to family dinners. I didn't make a speech. I just quietly, privately, inside my own heart, released the expectation. I let go of the idea that his approval was something I needed to feel whole.